Hello, hello. So many business owners like to think that they know where their money is going. But the truth is that when you start to actually look at the data, you start to see what's really happening. When we dig in, we almost always find leaks. And the kicker, those blind spots can cost you thousands every single year. Today, we're going to uncover some of the biggest expense blind spots I see and how to plug those leaks so your money stays where it belongs in your pocket. I'm Megan Schwan, your accounting sidekick and CEO and founder of Sidekick Accounting. And this is the very first episode of the Profit Points podcast. So if you can't tell, I'm very excited. So, what is profit points? Profit points are the areas in your business that directly affect your profit. Sometimes it's super obvious and sometimes it's a bit less obvious. Today, we're starting with one of the most obvious, but also most overlooked points, which is expenses. So let's dig in. I get it. First off, I get it. I'm a CEO. I'm a business. You're busy. I'm busy. We're always wearing 12 hats, and the last thing you want to do is pour over your QuickBooks subscription list at 9 p.m. But ignoring these small costs is leaving a faucet running, and it adds up. And eventually, it spills over into other areas. Yes, your expenses can spill over into other areas if you didn't already know that. So let's talk about the three blind spots owners often experience. The first one is blind spot number one, subscriptions and tools. Okay, so this is one of the things that get unnoticed most often. There's these $20 to $50 recurring charges that you sign up for something, oftentimes like a free trial, but you forget to cancel it. There are things like CRMs, applications, memberships, AI tools, especially in this day and age, but you're not using them. So, the quick tip that I have is to just do a 10-minute audit of your bank statements and look for those subscriptions. Take a look at your bank ledger if you have that in QuickBooks or your accounting software, but take a look. Do 10 minutes, even if it's just like Monday morning or Friday night, what or Monday night. I guess you don't want to be doing something like that on Friday night, but take a look, put 10 minutes on your calendar, look at your bank statements. Okay, blind spot number two is team inefficiencies. How does that impact expenses, Megan? Well, let me tell you. If you have overlapping roles and unclear responsibilities, or you're paying for workarounds instead of solving the root issue, you're wasting money. You're paying expenses that maybe you don't need to pay. So, a quick thing to ask yourself is, does this task add revenue or support growth? And if not, you need to cut it or delegate it differently. A good look at that is what you're doing first as the business owner, because if you have any kind of a team, whether it's a VA or a contractor or an employee, that means that you're delegating out. And if you're still doing things that they could be doing and you haven't let it go because maybe you think I have to do it, or I need to do it, or it's going to take too long to train that person, it's not. You're wasting more money by not training that person and delegating than by keeping it close to yourself. So take a look. Does this task add revenue or support my business growth? And if not, you need to cut it or you need to delegate it. Okay. Blind spot number three. Three. I know what my numbers are. Blind spot number three is vendor service creep. Okay. So vendors raise prices gradually, and often we rarely renegotiate those things. So take a look at your top three vendor contracts every year and then just ask the question. Sometimes they'll be yes, and sometimes they'll be no. But if you don't ask, it's always going to be a no. That's something I remind myself and I tell my kids. If you don't ask, it's always going to be a no. So ask. And if they say yes, then you automatically get instant savings. Okay. So those are three blind spots that we typically see. I wanted to share a case study as well. So recently, I worked with a client who was paying for 7 different marketing tools. Some of them had overlaps, all of them had great features, but we were able to consolidate and find a tool that did most of the things that she was needing. And instead of paying for 7 different tools, she was able to cut it down to 2 main tools. And by doing this, she saved $800 a month, which is nearly 10,000 a year. And now that money goes straight into her profit account, or she can reinvest it into her business. But this is a very common thing we see. When we start working with our clients to implement profit first, this is the first thing that we do. We go through very itemized list of all of the expenses from the last 12 months, and we make sure every expense has a purpose or an explanation. And so if you're not ready to work with us, or if you're already working with somebody, that's great for you. You should still do this. Make sure you're going through and looking at all of your expenses and seeing if they have a purpose or an explanation. So, just to recap, the 3 blind spots are subscriptions and tools, team inefficiencies, vendor service creep. Okay. And all you need to do is carve out 15 minutes and just take a look. Scan your subscriptions, review your vendors, ask one question. Is this expense helping me grow, or is it dead weight? Does this have an explanation or a purpose? I guess that could be 2 questions. And even if you just cut one expense, one $50 expense, that's $600 back in your pocket this year. So that is what I had for today in today's Profit Points conversation. If today's conversation made you realize you might have a few leaks, that's a good thing. Awareness is the first step, but don't stop there. You can join my Sidekick Facebook group, which I'm going to put on the screen. There we go. Your accounting sidekick.com. You can click on that and get access to it. Or you can comment evaluation, and I'll send you our free Profit Points mini evaluation so that you can take a look at this. But then also come back so that you can watch again next week. This is the very first episode of the Profit Points podcast. I'm Megan Schwan, your accounting sidekick, here to help you build a business that actually works for your life. So come back, talk to me, send me a DM, comment below, and I'll see you next week. Bye.